everybody, welcome to the show. Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Amanda. I am a teacher turned homeschool mom, and this is Raising A to Z. It is a YouTube channel all about homeschooling, and I am going to share with you what we are studying this year. You guys have asked what kind of topics we're studying. What do I think is a great idea for a unit study? Do I like unit studies? What studies are we doing? And so I'm just going to answer all of those questions today. If you have been following along, if you are a subscriber, which you totally should be, go down here and then you can click the bell to get notifications when I put out more videos like this. If you are a subscriber, you probably know that I am a huge fan of unit studies. I think they are so great for so many reasons. One, you can easily follow your kids' interests. Two, it's very easy to make them interdisciplinary studies and study a whole bunch of subjects all at once. So you can definitely take one topic and cover the history, geography, science, literature, art, all the things that are connected to that topic, and do it just through like one study, which I think makes much better like brain connections because you're connecting multiple things. And I just think they're a great way to kind of like add some variety to your year, and we just love them. We just absolutely love them. In our family, I plan about 9 unit studies for the whole year, which covers me from beginning of September to the end of June. And I don't do one in December because we usually take December off of homeschooling. So that gives me 9 months that I have units covered, and we kind of alternate between some science, more sciencey topics, and some more social studies topics. But for the most part, I let my kids pick. And I think that scares a lot of people when they hear that I let my kids pick what they are going to do for the year, because I think sometimes we're a little afraid of what weird things are they going to choose. So here's how I let my kids pick. I let them know, usually in like March, that we are going to be picking topics for next year. In 2 weeks, I'm going to ask you, what do you want to learn about next year? Don't tell me now. Tell me in 2 weeks. And over the next 2 weeks, I remind them, you guys thinking about what you want to learn next year? Do you have any ideas? And I kind of like drop the hints for about 2 weeks. And then I pull them aside each individually, because I find that works better, and ask them, what do you want to learn about? And Alexi's a little bit older, so she kind of gives me some much more concrete answers. So she will say things like, I want to learn about electricity or electronics, or I want to learn about plants and seeds. Cool, awesome, we can do that. Zoe sometimes gives me really good, solid things. Like she was like, I want to learn about dogs and I want to learn about oceans. That's what we did last year. This year, some of her answers were not so solid. She wanted to learn about things from the olden days. So, like sometimes you have to kind of like work it out a little bit more than that. But really, like that was a pretty broad topic. I could pick any historical time period and she was quite happy with that, right? So sometimes I ask them, I kind of compare what they've said they want to learn about. So like Alexi wanted to learn about ancient Egypt. That's an olden times thing. That's like 1 unit done, right? Sometimes it needs to be fleshed out a little bit more and have to kind of like talk it through with them a little bit. And usually by the end of like my discussions with the 2 of them individually, we've come up with like, I want to say 6 to 7 topics. And then I often have like ideas on my phone. I literally have like a notes app, like in my notes app, just like a note that says like homeschool ideas, because if I see something cool, I write it down. Like sometimes it's a novel study, sometimes it's cool topics, whatever, and I just keep like a list in there of different things. And so I might look at what they have and see what we're lacking. So for example, if we have like a lot of sciencey topics, I might start like suggesting some more like social studies topics. Or if we have lots of social studies topics, I'll suggest something maybe a little more sciencey, and I'll kind of go through, and then often they kind of pull out some really cool ideas that they really like. That's what we did last year, and that's how we ended up with the whole weather unit, and it was one of their favorite units of the year. They still talk about types of clouds and thunder and lightning, and they're still on about it. So I let them pick. For the most part, like I said, they tell me what they want to learn, and I'm able to kind of give some suggestions afterwards if there's just not enough topics. And basically we kind of like decide what the plan is going to be what we're gonna cover for the year. And from there, I plan out when it's gonna happen. I have a whole video on how I plan out my school year, walk you through what months I picked for what. You can see that up here. I'll put the link. And I just kind of try to plop them in where I think it's going to be the most advantageous for us, where it makes the most sense. So for example, sometimes you have topics that really fall well in a certain time period of the year. So for example, they wanted to study nocturnal animals. Great topic. Falls really well into Halloween, October kind of time, right? We're getting into spooky, dark things, a little Halloweeny, a little scary. Great time to throw that topic in there. So we're October, nocturnal animals. Makes sense, right? Seeds and plants, obviously not something I'm going to do in January in Canada. That's probably going to be like a June topic, right? I do a little bit of that, figuring out when topics are going to fall time-wise and when it makes sense. And then I also am pretty strategic about when I'm going to put the topic they're most excited about. So I do try to gauge when are they most excited about things, and I will plop that in for January, because coming off of Christmas and all of that, it's so cold and hard. I find that January, February for us is a really hard month, 2 months. So I try to put like 1 to 2 of the most exciting topics and things that they're most excited about, or things that are gonna be super hands-on, it's another thing, in there, because it just helps us get going again. So that's how I plan, that's why I plan them out that way. And then when it comes out to like what kind of curriculum I use, because I get this question a lot, I'm kind of all over the place. Some topics I find there's a lot of options out there. If it's popular in the school system, if it's popular with homeschoolers, chances are you're going to find something pre-made already. So for example, ancient Egypt, which is the first topic we're doing, there is literally thousands of unit studies. I found a good one that I'm very excited to use with my kids for totally free. I'll put the link for all of the like unit studies and stuff down below in the description, but like there's literally thousands of unit studies out there. All you have to do is download them, sometimes pay $1 or $2, and then they're totally free. Some of them are super easy, and I will just kind of like, we'll work through the worksheets, and then I like to like maybe supplement an activity here or there. Pinterest is great for that. I have a lot of library books and stuff on the topics or things that are related to the topic. And then I also like to have what I call a big book, which is usually like a novel or something that we can read out loud together as a family. If you're saying, Amanda, this seems really complicated, how do you plan all this? I plan it in my planner. This is the Essential Homeschool Planner. It has everything you need to help plan out your year, from your annual long-term planning all the way to your unit study planners, which you guys requested to be put in here so many times. I actually did it. As well as like your monthly and weekly plans. It has literally everything you need to help you plan out your homeschool year. And so this is what I use. It is available on Amazon. I'll put the link down below. Also available as a PDF download on our website. And so I basically use kind of this unit study planner as a guide. So I have my topic, my big book, my project, field trip recipes, film ideas, notes, and then I also have activities. So if I have a printed unit, I still pick a big book, usually finishing that, some kind of project to go with it. These are just fun bonuses. And then I'll add 1 to 4 hands-on activities just to kind of make things exciting. Art projects, crafts, science experiments that go with it, something like that. But then you have topics that don't really have curriculum out there because your kids pick something a little unique. Alexi wants a whole unit on fashion. I don't necessarily have that figured out yet, but sometimes like when you pick a unit on something that's just not as popular, sometimes you need to build it yourself. And so this year especially, I've kind of, if it's a popular topic and I can easily find something online, that's going to be kind of like the foundation of what we're doing, and then I'll add to it, and that gives me room and mental energy to fully build, using this method, a unit study for my kids. So we'll still have a big book, we'll have a big project. For example, when we're doing our fashion unit, I don't know what big book I'm doing yet. If you have any ideas on books about fashion, like a novel about fashion, please put it down below. A big project, we'll probably do a sewing activity. Field trips, we might go like to a fabric store or something like that. We'll definitely find some TV shows. I know there's a lot of like fashion design TV shows and stuff. That would be kind of cool to watch the process. And then in terms of like activities and assignments, I'm going to do like, we're going to learn to sew one day. We're going to work on this activity. We're going to do types of clothing. We're going to do like the names of different necklines and hemlines and all those kinds of things. So like I'll use this as like my foundation for building that, using that kind of same format. So that's how I do that. But in terms of like what we're studying this year, I'm going to share that with you right now. So the first topic we are going to study this year is ancient Egypt. Alexi picked this. It kind of went with Zoe's I want to learn about the olden days topic. I'm surprised that Zoe agreed to it because we did see a mummy a couple of months ago at a museum and she was terrified. But she agreed to it as long as she doesn't have to look at any more mummies. So that's what we're going to do. I found a great unit study that was totally free, so I just downloaded that. And that's what we're going to use as our foundation. And we're going to do this book, The Eye of Ra, as kind of our big book. When exploring a mysterious cave in the mountains behind their house, John and his sister Sarah are shocked to discover they've traveled to times in ancient Egypt. Kind of like an older version of the Magic Tree House, which they do have some ancient Egypt books, but I probably will save those for like Alexi's reading because she's like totally able to read those on her own now. So this is going to be kind of like the read aloud that I read to them, and I think they'll have a lot of fun with that. So this is what we're doing as our big book. I have the unit study. Like I said, I'll put all the unit studies that I purchased down below, but this one was totally free. So that's what I picked up, and I think we're gonna have fun with that. For October, second one, we are gonna do a whole month on nocturnal animals. Like I said, wolves and bats and owls and raccoons and all those kinds of things. I found a great unit on Teachers Pay Teachers, which is a fantastic website if you're looking for units and stuff. It's all teachers who have designed stuff that they're using in their class. You can search it really easily. It's just like a really kind of like all-in-one shopping for stuff, which can be really, really helpful. And we're gonna try that out. We're gonna use that one. And then I found this mega bat book. A boy discovers the cure for loneliness, Darth Vader, jelly rolls, and a pigeon, and a talking bat. So I thought this would be kind of like a fun book about bats, but also like really funny and kind of exciting. So we're gonna read this as our big book, and we're gonna learn all about animals that come out at night. And again, I think it's a really great kind of spookier topic to kind of get us into the mood for like Halloween and weather cooling off. After that, this is gonna be a unit that I'm gonna have to kind of put together myself. Zoe, my little foodie, asked for a unit on cooking and food. So that's gonna be something I'm gonna put together. We're definitely gonna do a little bit of like healthy eating, food groups, those kinds of things. I'm actually gonna use the food anatomy book, Julia Rothman's Food Anatomy, as kind of like because they're just fantastic. And I think this is gonna be kind of like my foundation. And we're definitely gonna do a lot of like recipe reading, some cooking, baking, making simple meals, probably work on knife skills. See how that goes. This is gonna be, like I said, my foundation for building that unit because it's just A, so colorful, B, it's got so much information, and it's really easy for the kids to get through. So I think this will be our foundation. And then I got this really cute graphic novel, because my kids love graphic novels, Chef Yasmin and the Potato Panic. So this is about a girl who loves to cook, and all of a sudden a corporation comes to town and replaces the community garden with just this like weird potato that makes everybody kind of a little weird, a little crazy. So she's trying to figure out what to do with these potatoes. And so it's a whole book about cooking, a girl who loves to cook. And so I thought that would be a really great kind of like companion to our cooking unit. So that takes us to Christmas. Christmas, we're gonna take the whole month off and we just do all kinds of Christmassy stuff. And then when it comes to January, we need something to like kickstart us back into our homeschool routine again. And so we're gonna do a whole month on artists. And so we're gonna do a lot of cool artisty things, learn about different artists from history. We're going to read, our big book is The Frame Up. This book is about two characters. One, a boy, and he's like having some problems, his family's having a hard time. And so he's decided his summer is gonna suck, except for he has an encounter with a 13-year-old girl who just so happens has been living inside a painting for over 100 years. And at night she can come out of her painting, kind of like a night at the museum kind of situation. And so we are going to read this as our like big book. And in terms of like unit study, I'm thinking, I haven't done it yet. You'll have to let me know, should I do it? The Gather Round has an artist unit available, and I haven't ever purchased anything from Gather Round. Should I do it? Or should I just build it? I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? Should I buy a gather round or should I just build it myself? Either way, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. And I also like it because I can do a lot of the art activities with the kids. It's very hands-on. So I think that would be a really good way to kind of like kickstart us back into the school year. The next one we're doing is for February, we're gonna do fashion in February. Like I said, we're gonna do a lot of like actually sewing, doing types of necklines and types of clothing, like the proper name for clothings, peplum tops and boat neck and like all that kind of stuff. I don't have a novel on that one yet. So if you have any good suggestions for a fashion novel, I will take them. But yeah, I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. Again, something very hands-on. I can build myself because I probably will have to build myself. And I think it'll be a really fun kind of topic for us to study. In the middle of winter, we can like kind of hunker down and work at the sewing machine and have some fun with that. So that's what we're gonna do for February. For March, we are going to do electronics and electricity. Alexi asked for electronics, but I thought electricity would also be a very good topic to throw in there because they kind of all go together. And so we're gonna definitely look at studying like circuits, batteries, those kinds of things, light bulbs, how electronics are made, things like that. And I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't have a unit for that. That's probably one that I'm gonna build. But for our big book, we are gonna do The Wild Robot. I've heard so many good things about this book. And I figured it's a robot, which is kind of like electronics. So it kind of goes. Sometimes you just have to like make the stretch, right? And for those who don't know, it's about a robot that ends up living in the wild by itself and is trying to survive in the wild. So we're excited. This is, again, has been on like my recommended reading list for a very long time for the kids. So I'm excited to read this with them, and I think they'll get a really good kick out of it because we don't read a lot of books that don't have like human characters. So I think this will be something different for them as well. So yeah, that's going to be our electronics unit. And because it'll be March and March break, we'll probably spend a lot of time in the science centers, which have a lot of electronic type things. Like I know ours does. It has some like building circuits and lighting up light bulbs and stuff like that. So that'll be fun for us to kind of tackle those. The next unit that we are going to do is a habitat unit. This was something Zoe asked for. She wanted to know where animals live. So I thought that'd be a really cool unit. Can't remember if it's grade 3 or grade 4 curriculum for Ontario. There's tons out there. So this is again another teacher pay teacher unit that I pulled out. Link will be below. And so we're definitely going to use that as a foundation. Our big project, we're going to build like a diorama of a habitat of their choice, like in a shoebox kind of thing. And for our big book, we're going to read A Wolf Called Wander, which is the life of a wolf named Wander. And so it's all about their wilderness, how they're surviving. And I think this will just be like, again, a book that is not from a human perspective. So something different for them. This is actually based on a true story. A Wolf Called Wander is based on the extraordinary true story of a wolf named OR7, a wild wolf that traveled a remarkable 1,000 miles across the Pacific Northwest. And so this is, I think, would be a really cool unit, like book to tie into that unit. And so that's what we're gonna do. Then we're gonna move into a topic that I suggested. The kids are kind of excited about it, especially once I pulled out some cool games and stuff. We're gonna do a whole unit on Canada. We're gonna focus mainly on geography for this year. Provinces, the capital cities, the different types of climates. That's gonna be our focus for this year because I think we need to kind of understand that before we can like move on to other things like history, Indigenous studies, politics. Like we need to understand where places are in our country before we can move into that. So that's what we're gonna start with. So I'm kind of excited about that. I have a teacher's pay unit for that as well. And so that's going to be like my foundation. I had 2 options for the book study. I might do them both because they're not very long. One of them is a book series. I cannot remember the name of it right now, but it's available through our library. And it is basically a magic tree house, but with a toboggan instead of a tree house, and it's all Canadian historical events. I will find the title and I will put it right here for you. There's that as an option. I think they have like 7 or 8 books. My other option was a book that I read as a kid, was the Screech Owl series, which is the hockey series. Again, not something that my kids are really into, but it's very Canadian. It's called The Night They Stole the Stanley Cup. This I think could just be like a fun book. It's also not super long, so I think it could easily be like, we might end up doing 2 for that month. If you have another suggestion though for a Canadian book about Canada, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear it. And then our last topic of the year is plants and seeds. Lexi requests this. We've done a little bit of plants before, so I think this will be a bit of a deeper dive. We're also going to use Julia Rothman's Nature Anatomy. Forgot to pick it. That's going to be kind of, again, a foundation. I do have a Teachers Pay Teachers packet for that as well because it's a super common topic. So we're going to do that as a foundation, use the Julia Rothman as kind of our textbook, and then as our big book, I'm going to read The Secret Garden because it is a great story, first off. And the movie is fantastic too. My kids, we've started watching the movie and I didn't think they were gonna like it and they're totally enthralled. So if they like the movie already, they're definitely gonna like the book. So that's what we're gonna do. Those are our topics and our units for the year. I'm very excited about that. I really can't wait to print everything off and get everything set up. So that's what we're gonna do. Let me know what you guys are studying because like I said, sharing is caring. We like to know what everyone's coming up with because sometimes you guys come up with the cool topics. Sometimes I come up with cool topics and then we can share the topics. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and click the bell. And then if you want to see how we incorporate these topics into our daily routine, our schedule, and how these unit studies play out for us, you definitely want to make sure you're following me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys next week.